We're at PAX Australia 25. How are you guys finding the show so far?
I think it's excellent. Like, I really have a great time. It's our kind of our biggest one that we attend. Yeah, and it's like the tabletop area just keeps getting like more and more exciting and more of a buzz. That's what I find. Yeah.
What I really like is when the video game hall closes and then you start to feel all these people wander in who are like, what is this board game?
It's
Tabletop world.
tabletop.
Yeah, and they get pulled into what we're doing, so that's always fun. So our channel's ThinkerThemer, and it's a strange name, but actually the name came from us trying to describe why one of us would love a game and the other person would be like, that didn't do anything for me. And we have pretty similar tastes, we're married and we've been together for a long time, and so we were like, why does one of us love this game and the other one hates it, vice versa? And then we realized that I need like a lot of structure, and if I can understand the mechanics of the game, then I'm away. So I grew up playing chess, abstract games, whereas Maggie needs to have a bigger purpose, needs to understand the world that she's playing in, and realize that actually for her it's theme first. Tell me what I'm doing, what I'm trying to achieve, and then I'll work out the rules. Whereas I'm like, tell me all the rules, let me know how to win, and I'll win. Doesn't matter what the theme is. And so that's how our channel came about. And actually, in talking about games in that way, we've just found that a lot of people resonated with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it helps them learn games if you start with, are you a top-down or a bottom-up thinker? That has really applied more broadly to, help people understand themselves a bit better. So, it's been really fun. We've been doing it for 5 years now. It kicked off because of COVID, so long lockdown here in Melbourne, and some people learnt to bake, and
we started a YouTube channel.
We started a YouTube channel. Here we are. But actually, when we first started the YouTube channel 5 years ago, there weren't many games that equally scratched that itch. So we like Euro games, so there's big 3 or 4 hours, and usually you would have to compromise on either it being thematic or mechanically really interesting, and now publishers are trying really, really hard to blend them together. So we're actually finding that we're both liking more games, and also I think it's helped me understand Maggie a lot better as well. That's how you see the world. And if I'm teaching her a game, I always have to, but I'll try and work on what's the theme and start with that. And then, so it's given us an appreciation for how we think as well.
Absolutely, yeah, because you end up having that understanding of not everyone thinks the way that I think, but then also it's some people need more of the theme to understand why am I doing this? Does this make sense thematically? Whereas some people are no, that gets in the way. I actually just want to know what am I trying to achieve, and that's it.
And one of the biggest barriers to getting into board gaming is sitting down and having to read so many rule books. And there's some great YouTubers, not us, but other YouTubers that do great how to play videos, but it's been interesting just as you get into board gaming, you start to learn more about your own learning style. Some people need to watch something on a video, other people need to read it, other people like to be taught, and can learn. I can't learn from other people very well, the auditory learning, but Maggie can. So it's just interesting as a journey of self-discovery, board gaming.
So you tell me about some of the places you've gone and sort of what that's been like.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think it gives us another excuse to justify a trip or justify extending a trip. We're if we can tack on this con, but it also gives you quite a focus. I think we'll often build whatever trip we have around that con, and trying to, if it's something like an Essen or a Gen Con where you're going to potentially be buying a lot of games, leave that to the end, because we don't want to be carrying whatever we buy everywhere. So absolutely for me. Yeah.
It's been really fun, especially some of those bigger ones, because Australia, has a growing board game community, but in other places like in Europe and over in America as well, there are some really big conventions, and it's so overwhelming to just have so many board gamers in one place, and the whole city's really come alive as well with board gaming. So if you can get over to one of those big ones, it's a really great experience. Lately we've been going to Tokyo Game Market quite a lot. So we've been, I think 4 times now, we're about to go again. And it's one of our favorite cons because it's so different to anything else. They really specialize in card games because, in Asia you don't have a lot of space in your house to have it full of calyx with hundreds of board games. So they have a lot of card games, and it's just really fun to see something so different. So that's one that we always recommend people go and check out as well if they're going over to Japan.
It's also very unique because it's a lot of usually designers doing their own small print run. So it's not with the US or Europe. there are these big publishers putting out these big titles. This is like literally, I'm a designer and I'm hand making 100 copies of this one game that you will probably only be able to get here, and that's
one
it.
time only.
Yeah. So it's really unique as an experience.
The great thing about board gaming is you can turn up anywhere in the world, find your local board game store or like gaming space, and usually you're welcome with open arms, and someone there will break through the language barrier to teach you a board game, or you can teach them, because even though some games, there's a lot of games that are language independent, and so we've had a lot of fun just meeting random people at board game cafes around the world. So even though there's a lot of differences, it's just such a lovely community no matter where you are, and it makes you feel like you're a little bit of home when you get there. So yeah, it's just a nice way to meet people.
I really like also every one of these conventions is very different in the sense of what their main vibe is. So like at Gen Con, it's very much, there's a lot of cosplay and there's a lot of events, and it's sort of this energy and buzz, whereas Essen, which is the one in Germany, it's more about like, it's a trade show. So it's like people go there to buy games. You don't necessarily play aside from like demoing, but it's like all the big Euro releases tend to kind of happen at that time. Tokyo Game Market, again, very different, because it's like, I'm the designer and I'm just kind of showing you this quirky little thing that I made. So I really enjoy that. Like, they all have their own personality as well as conventions. Yeah.
Have you found your tastes have changed much in that 5 years?
Yes, actually, I think a lot. I think probably, and I'm not sure if this is a common experience, just as you become, as you get more into gaming, I think when you first start, you're trying to level up your skills and get into harder and harder board games, and then you end up playing these Lacerdas and these really big Euros that take hours and hours, and it's almost like you're challenging yourself. And then I think as we've become content creators, we're teaching a lot more, we're trying to share gaming with people a lot more, and so an appreciation for the accessibility of titles has really changed the way I view gaming, probably. So instead of just recommending really hard games to people because it's like, I enjoy that. It's like, oh wow, a title like Harmonies that came out last year, I just love that game so much, because it's got, if you're a heavy gamer, you can challenge yourself, but if you're new to gaming, it's also accessible enough to get people into it. And so titles like that, that's how my taste has changed. Yeah. And even party games, there's an occasion for every type of game.
You definitely have, I've started to appreciate a lot more the same, like the occasions for the different games, as opposed to just like, oh, I want heavier and bigger. It's like, sometimes it's like, actually, I really appreciate a really good theme and something that is smaller, that has something really clever, that makes me kind of go, I want to go back in it again. So it's not necessarily about how big and complex and how long is it going to take me. It's like, how clever it is that what they've encapsulated here.
Or we might just be really tired after playing hundreds of games a year. So we're like, please give us some light games.
It's also interesting because you can get a little bit of almost like fatigue, because you're playing so many games that you're seeing so many things kind of done over and over and over. So when we were playing as a hobby, you're kind of playing not just less frequently, but you'll usually like play 1 or 2 games over and over, and like they'll be like your main things, whereas now we cover, like we're constantly like exploring and discovering, and so you're going through so many things that you start to see, so this is the season of this mechanic, and every game is trying to incorporate a little bit of that, so then you start really appreciating when there's something unique, like with this, whereas probably earlier on we may not have, we may be like, that's kind of different, but whatever. It's like, we're like, no, you don't understand. This never happens. Like,